Bads of Bollywood premiere. As usual, Ambanis will outshine any Mumbai party. On Wednesday evening, the biggest names of Bollywood came together for the premiere of Aryan Khan's debut series Bads of Bollywood. However, it was OG Neeta Ambani who sparked the brightest. You must have been gushing about Neeta Ambani's Bads of Bollywood premiere look. But why would someone pay millions for a tiny blue stone that's rarer than diamonds and could be faked in the market? Is Paraiba Tourmaline really worth the hype? Hello viewers, I'm Kavya Khandelwal and you're watching The Edge. Paraiba Tourmaline isn't just another gem, it's a neon miracle of nature. Discovered only a few decades ago, it shook the jewelry world with its electric glow, and today it's one of the rarest and most expensive gemstones on earth. But here's the twist: while Brazilian stones are priceless, copycats and low-grade versions flood the market, making it hard to know if what you are buying is the real deal. In this video, we'll dig into the wild story of Paraiba Tourmaline, its history, what makes it glow, why it's so rare, and the secret that drives its jaw-dropping price. Let's rewind to the 1980s. Imagine a Brazilian miner, Heitor Dimas Barbosa, spending years digging in the hills of Paraiba state. Everyone thought he was crazy, but he kept insisting that something special was buried there. And then one day, his team unearthed a crystal that glowed unlike anything anyone had ever seen. These gems weren't just blue, they were electric, like a tropical lagoon lit up from within, glowing even in dim light. The discovery shook the gem world. Overnight, Paraiba Tourmaline became a superstar. Soon, deposits popped up in Nigeria and Mozambique too. They had similar copper-bearing stones, but collectors insisted the Brazilian ones were the holy grail. Why? Because the Batalha mine, where the first stones came from, is now almost depleted, meaning every Brazilian Paraiba is basically a piece of history. To put its rarity into perspective, for every 10,000 diamonds mined, only one Paraiba Tourmaline is found. But here's where things get tricky. Paraiba Tourmaline's fame has created its biggest problem: fakes and confusion. With stones also found in Nigeria and Mozambique, sellers sometimes blur the lines, labeling everything as Paraiba. And because the supply is so tiny, prices skyrocket. Some stones cost more per carat than emeralds, sapphires, or even diamonds. The demand is high, the supply is scarce, and buyers often don't know what they are actually paying for. Imagine dropping lakhs of rupees or even crores only to later find out the stone isn't Brazilian, or worse, isn't even real. So what makes Paraiba glow like neon lights in the first place? It all comes down to chemistry. These stones contain copper and manganese, elements rarely found in tourmalines. Copper gives that electric blue and turquoise, and manganese adds violet and pink tones. Sometimes gem cutters even heat these stones to reduce red or purple hues and bring out the vibrant blue. And unlike most gems, Paraiba doesn't just shine, it glows. Even in low light, the color looks alive, almost as if it's plugged into electricity. Geologically, these stones form in pegmatite rocks. Giant mineral-rich veins created as magma slowly cools inside the earth. But for Paraiba, it's not just magma. It needs an extremely rare cocktail of mineral-rich fluids carrying copper and manganese, all crystallizing over millions of years under perfect conditions. That's why it's so rare. The earth doesn't often cook up this recipe. And here's something most people don't know. The largest Paraiba ever cut in the ethereal Carolina Divine Paraiba, a jaw-dropping 191.87 carat stone. To give you context, most Paraibas are under 2 carats. So that giant one is practically a unicorn in the gem world. And here's the kicker. The most expensive gems aren't just rare, they are symbols. When Neeta Ambani walked into the premiere of Bads of Bollywood wearing a necklace made of Paraiba Tourmaline and diamonds. It wasn't just jewelry, it was a powerful statement. A necklace like that isn't just bought, it's a flex that says, I own what the world can barely find. And here's the twist. While the original Batala mine in Brazil is nearly empty, Mozambique now produces a big chunk of the Paraiba supply. They are stunning too, but collectors still pay insane premiums of Brazilian origin stones even when a Mozambican one looks just as neon to the naked eyes. In short, it's not just the glow that makes it priceless, it's the story behind where it came from. So here's the big picture. Paraiba Tourmaline is one of the rarest, most dazzling gemstones ever found. Born deep in the earth through a freak recipe of copper and manganese, heat and time, and discovered only in the late 1980s, it's younger than many of your parents, yet already one of the most expensive gems on the planet. It glows like no other stone, commands sky-high prices, and has been a symbol of status and luxury. But with great demand comes great confusion. Nigerian and Mozambican stones, heated treatments, and outright fakes flood the market. That's why knowing the story and source matters as much as the gem itself. So the next time you see this neon blue beauty, remember, it's not just a gemstone. It's Earth's way of showing off. Would you ever spend millions on a gemstone, or do you think it's all hype? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe and follow The Edge.